Mindset community, welcome to our virtual gym memberships. We are so happy to have you here. I can't even describe this to you. So thank you for joining us wherever you are. So we are based out of Kalamazoo, Michigan, but I know for a fact not all of you are from here. Some of you aren't even from the state of Michigan, and some of you aren't even from the United States. That is so cool that we're connecting not only locally, at the state level, at the regional level, at the national level, and now globally. Technology is pretty amazing, isn't it? So welcome and thank you for joining us. I am Dr. Ellen. I have been in physical therapy and movement science for almost 20 years now. I love human movement and I love helping people get out of pain and optimizing their health. So I can't wait to share this with you. We're gonna have a really good time. So here's some things to expect. Number one, you're gonna learn a lot. And number two, we're gonna move a lot. And you're gonna connect with parts of yourself that you maybe haven't touched base with in a long time. Each workout is going to include a warm-up, as well as a movement and mobility preparation in order to prepare your soft tissues and your joints for the workout of the day. Our workouts of the day will vary, but they do fall underneath this overarching programming and direction that we're trying to take you through. So I promise you they're not random and they all have a purpose, even down to how many repetitions you should be doing under what intensity and when, okay? Then we'll be ending with our corrective work and cool down. And of course, if anyone knows me out there, we will embed our mindfulness practice into this. That is crucial because the mind and the body and the soul are completely integrated. And if you think you are able to dissociate the two, you are wrong. Because you can look at tons of evidence that integrates the chemical level, the hormonal level, to all sorts of different areas within the body. The brain and gut connection, just for an example, is pretty darn powerful. So I will be educating you, teaching you, giving you as much research along the way. But one thing we want to start with is normally when people sign up for a membership at our facility, they go through our foundations class so that they can learn the foundational principles of movement and how to apply them to your body. That really helps us optimize safety and efficiency as you're starting to do this. And since I'm not necessarily going to be right with you and able to correct you, you're going to hear a lot of cues in these videos, and I want you to know what those mean. So let's talk a little bit about some education and how this body works. First off, we are human. Therefore, we live on Earth. And therefore, we are affected by gravity. That is a force that is not really recognized a whole ton, but it is, and therefore we have to abide by the laws of physics that are dictated by this, okay? When you apply the laws of physics to the body, that's biomechanics. And that's what we're gonna discuss today. So everybody's very familiar with the core, right? So basically, if you were to draw a box from your shoulders to your pelvis, everything in between, from your spine to your guts, to your lungs, to your heart, to your rib cage, to your thoracic spine, the whole 9 yards, everything that's in there is integrated, okay? And one of my rules is called spine first. And I want you to draw awareness to the position of your spine before we add any sensitizing factors. Sensitizing factors would be things like speed, duration, intensity, load, all of those things that make something more challenging. So in the core, we do have our spine, which is made up of vertebrae. If you change the position of these vertebrae relative to one another under load, that is a bad idea. So spine first is really important in order for you to maintain safety of our core. Okay, that's rule number one. Rule number two is realizing where you actually get your power from, and that comes from your engines. So if we use the analogy of a car, the chassis of a car is your core. That's where your stability comes from, and that's where everything is moved off of. Your engines, okay, in the lower half, your primary engine would be your hips, secondary engines would be your knees, tertiary engines would be your ankles and feet. In the upper half, your primary engine is your shoulder and shoulder blade complex, secondary engine is your elbow, tertiary engines are wrist and hands. Okay, so that organization and hierarchy is really important because once you learn to add load, you want to make sure you're putting the load in the right place. And so many of the things we do, you want to sequence them as such that you do your primary engine first and you load that, not just in one plane, but in all 3 planes, which we'll get into in a bit. Then you do whatever is left into the secondary engine, and then finally whatever is left into the tertiary engine. Having that organization to your movement is really crucial for your safety and for your efficiency. If you actually want to learn how to move heavy loads, you need to know how to do that properly. And maintaining that hierarchy and organization is the way to do that, okay? So the last rule is called the first joint rule. So whatever joint you move first is going to be the one you load the most. So for example, the easiest one is a squat. So if I turn to the side here and you see the first engine I move is my secondary engine, that means I've loaded the majority of the force in my secondary engine. That's not efficient, right? We want to use our primary engine as much as possible. So these cues and these understanding of these principles are really important because I won't be with you side by side during all of these videos as if you were here working out in my gym. So I want you to understand when we're doing those so that you can immediately implement these cues into your workout so that you can get better, faster, and stronger in the safest way possible, okay? So we're here from you, we're here for you, we love you more than you know, and thank you so much for going on this journey with us. Stay tuned, let's go.